Hi, I'm JP, and I wanted to do a video where I talk about a game that I've been playing lately. It's N++ from Metanet Software. Full disclosure, I know Mayor Shepard and Reagan Burns, the two primary developers behind this game, but I don't think that conflict of interest is going to manifest in any real way. So yeah, I've been playing this game recently and really loving it. I think my enjoyment of this game is fairly unbiased. But yeah, it's making me think about it's giving me some thoughts about game design and specifically level design that are. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the cool replays that play during on the title screen. Yeah, I wanted to get into like some of what it's doing on the level design front because it's fairly unique. I feel like in a lot of respects. So I guess just basics. This is it's a 2D platformer. Obviously, as you can see, it's very stylish. It has an amazing minimal soundtrack. It's really like Mayor and Reagan's like design, like graphic designers republic inspired graphic design sensibility, just translated into the most like fully realized form. And yeah, so that's really cool. But I think it also has like a really deep mechanical and core design simplicity, and I think they're able to explore that really fully in the level design. So yeah, let me jump in here. So there's a whole bunch in this game. It's got like 2,000 something levels. There's just a ridiculous amount of stuff you can do in this game. But the only thing that there's really unlocking for are more levels and like these color schemes and music things, yeah, like all of which are very stylish and awesome. I'm going to go with sort of the default here just because it's, well, the one that is most similar to the previous games. But yeah, so let's see. I had a few levels earmarked here that I wanted to talk about as being interesting in terms of what they're doing. So let's see here. So yeah, there are some levels that, yeah, here we go. Okay, cool. And I can replay individual levels. There are some levels here that are really just entirely about, and actually, you know what? Instead of trying to talk while I play, I'm just going to play back my replay of this. View replays. Mine. I have beat this level before. Weird. Okay. Anyway, all right. So I'm just gonna play the replay here. So levels like this are about illustrating like a very specific principle. In this case, it's the fact that when you're moving fast enough and you launch off of a little peak of terrain or something, when it's uneven terrain like this, you catch a little bit of air, which is really obvious. But this level is entirely geared around showing you exactly how that works. Let's see here. Oh, maybe I'm viewing my replay of the entire episode. I think that's probably what I'm doing. Yeah, okay. So this is my replay of it, which is not nearly as elite and awesome, fast-moving. And you can see how I like hold up on here. You're seeing the successful replay. I probably died a couple of times, trying to beat this. But this is the level that's like super focused. It's really just like taking you through. It's almost like an exercise. I think. Gosh, I'm kind of wondering how much I should talk about like the actual core design stuff here. It's covered pretty well, honestly, in the, let's see, let's quit back out, in the help screen. So, vertical momentum, this is a platformer where, yeah, like you build up momentum. It's sort of like halfway between very arcadey, like bespoke Mario physics and a fully like everything is a rigid body type physics simulation, where you really are just completely at the mercy of the physics sim. So you build up momentum in the y-axis, when you're moving up and down, which means that you can like you can wall jump. You can actually wall jump indefinitely. You jump and then you can like stick on the same turn. You can stick on the same wall, and there's actually a pretty good. I mean, yeah, there's like. Let me just see. So I can jump up like this, then I can slide down the wall. I have a pretty fair amount of air control, but X momentum, you know, has to be fully counteracted. So for me to be able to fully turn around, yeah, I don't know. Like, there's definitely like, all right, and here we're into the problem of playing while talking. But yeah, I don't know, like, it's really the sort of thing that, like, playing it for yourself, you kind of instantly get, like, what this game is doing, you know, and, like, what some of the basic rules of its world and physics are. So yeah, I think, like, some levels, and especially, like, it has a really good, like, tutorial arc. It's got, like, a, you know, 5x5 grid of 5 episodes each. And this thing does a really good job of, yeah, like, this is the most, yeah, the basics. It's like, okay, there are these mines that you have to avoid and stuff like that. And these levels do a really good job, these intro levels do a really good job of very gently ramping you into more and more difficult concepts. And so that's really cool. I mean, because, you know, it's like, I guess that's like, what, 25 times 5? So like 125 levels worth of intro. And you can play through them in like, you know, like 20 minutes or so. I don't know. Like, it goes by very quickly, and yeah, it teaches you a whole bunch. And then this is the main episode grid. And so I was playing through these, you know, like if you get all of the little gold pickups on a level, you know, you get like a special thing, and that's cool to do. But yeah, actually I should go back in the intro here, because there's a few interesting, let's see, where was I? Yeah, so, okay, let me just play this here. So this is teaching you, the level is called Triangle to Retry, and the reason that it's called that is to teach you that sometimes there are hidden switches, and when you hit them, they bring up walls, and in this case, this wall is actually just completely trapping us in this level. So it's like, okay, well, cool, that you forced me to die, to kill myself once so that I can learn about this thing. However, like, so you're like, okay, well, both of these golds must be BS. They're just like, you're not actually meant to get them. And I don't know if there's any objective in-game that wants you to get this, but I know that there is an achievement for getting all of the gold in the tutorial. So it's clearly possible. And in some of these later levels, like later in this episode, it's sort of like, yeah, you're clearly like you're running away from this thing that will kill you. And then you're like, okay, well, I can just get to the exit here, but what if I go a little, like, if I want to get all of the gold in this, then I go a little, I go the extra mile. Same with this one, really. Yeah, so let's bail out of that. Yeah, and then also this one's called Intro to Accepting Your Limitations question. And I started going through trying to get, like, all of the gold in this, and you can get a lot of it relatively easily, but then there's this stuff, like, you end up, like, carving out everything except that stuff in the top middle there. And, you know, again, you're looking at that get all of the gold in the intro thing, and you're wondering, like, how do I do that, you know? And it's not obvious to me, actually, like, so this is what I'm going to have to come back to later. But the gold is really good at, let's see, there's another really nice level for teaching you. Sorry, I'm gonna have to, like, page around and look at it here. Oop. Here we go. No, not this one. Ah, yeah, here we go. The all-powerful golden rainbow of upwards momentum. So this is just using this gold, which is like a completely optional objective, to sort of paint an optimal path through the space. Like, you know, it's telling you, like, if you do this perfectly, you can just ace all of that in one smooth run. So they're using something that in a lot of other games is just like sort of a boring collectible sort of thing. Like, oh yeah, collect all the gold, you know, and we placed a whole bunch of little tchotchkes around the level, and I'll bet it will take you a while and keep you occupied to find all of them. They're using that collectible thing to sort of focus the design and tell you something much deeper about it. I mean, I think there's, and there's that's definitely something that other games do. It's just like when there's so few. When there are so few other elements in the game, it ends up making those design principles that they're trying to illuminate a lot more obvious. So, so that example that I pulled out earlier of like, okay, well, here's a level whose entire design is about teaching you about how this thing works. So let's go back to, let's see here. Sorry, I'm not used to selecting individual levels here. So yeah, this is a good example of, let me see if I can view my replay of this so I can actually... Alright, let's jump to the last level here. Actually... Okay, here we go. And so... levels very quickly start having, like, very involved, like you can see, okay, the path to the actual switch that opens the level exit door is pretty straightforward. But then there are these tiers up above here that's like a whole level of extra credit. And also this level starts to get into something, this was playing through this level like about partway through the top row. It was starting to dawn on me, and I just completely did not care about getting all of the gold in that level. But it started to dawn on me that like that level, it has multiple little parts to it, and let's see here, where's the one I wanted to go to? Sorry, I don't know all these by heart. No, that's not it. I'll know it when I see it. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay. So let's view the replay for this last level here. Okay, this is not the last level. Sure, that's a straightforward one. Okay, let's skip ahead here. Yeah, this is just a nice, like, they're kind of teaching you more, they're giving you a more specific feel of what the collision radius is for these little mines, the little pink things that kill you when you touch them. They're putting these golds really close to that. And so in doing so, they're kind of saying, like, look, you can get exactly this close. Why don't you have some fun practicing getting as close as you can to that? By having like these toggle mines as well, which are a pretty brilliant little just simple design mechanism that they get a lot of mileage out of. They're also kind of saying it is possible to avoid these, or okay, actually, yeah, this is the level that I wanted to really talk about. So this level starts off, and you're going through each section of this level, and you're hitting these switches that unlock these things that start moving down the hallway behind you towards you. And so you have this sense, even the first time you play it, that these things are going to overtake you and you're going to have to deal with them. Meanwhile, you're pushing ahead, avoiding all this stuff, and working up to this thing in the bottom left quadrant of the screen here, which actually has the switch. And now you have to get back to the exit, which is right back where you started. And getting back out of this level is a whole different situation. You've got these things that you were avoiding, that you were running ahead of the whole time, and you're retraversing all of this geometry. You're just like, okay, now I have to get back up this thing that was just really easy to slide down before. Now I've got two of these coming for me, and okay, cool, it looks like I do have an opening. Oh, but there's another one coming behind it, and I might have been dead if I had tried to rush it. And then like it gets sort of like the timing gets sort of tighter and more like, yeah, I squeaked through almost by luck there, so I'm feeling really tense by the time I get to this point, because I haven't beaten this level yet. I mess up that I was just going to jump right over, Here, can I play through that again? Can I play that replay again? Yeah. Yeah, until by the end of it, you know, like, it's fairly nerve-wracking because I haven't gotten that far before, and it's like, oh gosh, and then I accidentally messed up the wall jump, and I slid down that wall and triggered 2 more toggle mines, thus making the shaft like that much, you know, that last, you know, thing I have to ascend that much more dangerous. And what I realized, like, playing through this, clearing this level sort of, and dying, you know, a dozen or 2 times, sort of made me realize that, like, this is actually, I mean, it's just being done as level design, and it has, like, very clear, I feel like you could sort of formally deconstruct what the level is doing, you know, in a pretty straightforward way, and it's like, yeah, cool, that's a well-built level, it has, like, sort of a little progression to it and all that. But what it made me realize is that the word for what this is actually doing, an appropriate word for what this is actually doing, is storytelling. I think this is like a short form. I mean, this is sort of unique in being like very short form level design. You've seen enough levels now. Some of these levels only take like 5 to 10 seconds to beat, and then other ones are like, you know, you try it multiple times, and the full run takes like, you know, a good like 2 or 3 minutes almost. And yeah, I think that's really interesting and significant. I think like where I'm coming from as like a level designer who's worked mainly on 3D games, I'm always thinking in terms of like, okay, well, a level is like this big space, and I'm just going to set another episode replay going just so that there's something interesting visuals while I'm talking about it and thinking through it. You know, like, even like a short Doom level, and certainly a level that also has a story happening in it, like a BioShock level or something. You know, they're all fairly involved affairs. There's just a ton of work that goes into them. Every beat is like considered very carefully and stuff like that. And so I don't think I really saw much of the commonalities between like what I had been doing for a lot of my career and something like this, or something like Super Mario Brothers World 1 or something, you know. But I think, I mean, I think N++, you know, all the end games specifically distill all of this 2D level design stuff down into a really concise form, and it makes you realize that, like, okay, when a level has a progression, yeah, and actually this is a really common format that is, you know, sort of like, I think when I was playing Thief and Neon Struct and stuff, you know, the whole infiltrate and exfiltrate, where you start off and you have to get into a sensitive location, reach a goal, and then get back out and return to your starting location. I think that sets up an inherent sort of story backbone, and N++'s level design language is such that, like, you know, you can do that or you can not do that. You can have like the switch be really trivial to get to, and then just reaching the exit is really tough, or you can put them right next to one another or whatever. But yeah, I think thinking about level design like this, that does not have any kind of an explicit, you know, an explicit story or anything, still absolutely has a story that I think that I haven't seen talked about too much in like games writing. You know, I mean, a lot of games criticism and games writing, excellent though it is, not a lot of people are maybe talking about this kind of level design, you know, just like the player experience as it's shaped through like very simple mechanical tools or something. So I think that's really cool and worth doing. And if you know of like really good examples of that, and I'm sure there have been some of those things, then yeah, feel free to like link in the comments or anything, because yeah, I'm very interested to hear about that stuff. But yeah, like that level actually I particularly enjoyed. It took me a lot of tries to beat that level, but yeah, let's see it again actually. Yeah, let's go to a different level here. I wonder if any of these are interesting. I just like having these on while I'm talking about it. Yeah, I don't know how much more I have to say about that. Like, it's really like, but yeah, when you're designing levels for a game like this, I mean, let's do more very short form level design, you know, because I think you can go through so many ideas. That's one of the really like exhilarating and awesome things about playing this game, is that you know, you can take a single idea and develop it over the course of an episode, or you can just like go all over the place. You can have some levels that are like weird little gimmicks, and then others that are like really straightforward build-up progressions, like this level. Or you can just like, you know, you can have a level that tries to depict something. Like, I think there's let me bail out of this. There's some levels that are, I don't know if any of these, not many of the MetaNet levels are too obsessed with this, but let's see. But yeah, you can see like a lot of people are, I mean, like this is, people did like a Manic Miner, you know, homage sort of thing. There's one. This one is pretty amazing. It's like a Ghostbusters thing. They like traced out a little ghost thing, and I was like, okay, cute. They made like the Ghostbusters mascot in, you know, out of gold. What are they doing there? Hold on. Let me go to the replay of this. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, I was like looking at the thing for this. So obviously this is like a heavily themed thing, and it's like, okay, Ghostbusters. What's all this complicated stuff going on here? As it turns out, ghostbusting is an actual mechanic in this level, because those little red things will chase you around and they'll kill you if they touch you, obviously. But you can herd them into these little chambers and then hit a switch to seal them. So you really are like capturing these ghosts, and that gives you access to like these huge caches of gold. And then like only after doing all of this, I think, can you, I don't know, yeah, like, I don't know. So yeah, like that's a pretty awesome application of theme. Yeah, here's one that I tried multiple times to beat just because it, you know, it's got the Doom logo in it, and it's actually really hard. Like it's very unforgiving and has like quite an interesting progression to it. So yeah, you can be like depictive. You can be like, okay, here's a graphic design theme, like this sort of cross-hatching thing, and we're gonna like just turn that into like an interesting design. And yeah, here's one that's just a whole bunch of mines, and it's probably depending on some weird thing about how mines work. So I think this is a really, really good game to look at for how level design can be communicative in a first of all, a non-verbal way, which I think is super important. And also, like, it can do things that are analogous to storytelling. I would not discount, you know, the things that it's doing just because it doesn't have like an explicit setup or something. Like these things that have become like AAA value signifiers for what a level means or how it means. So yeah, I think that's all really cool. Also, yeah, it's just like really fun, you know, like the actual moment to moment, you know. It's got that cool like non-linear progression structure, so you can, you know, if you get stuck on a level, then you can just like say screw it and return to it later, and play some other levels in the meantime. Yeah, I think that's probably about all I've got. Yeah, and yeah, this is just a user-made level with a really tricky progression. And yeah, doesn't be dying apparently. Anyway, I think that's about all I had to say. But yeah, short-form level design, storytelling, and the sort of incredible variety you can have when your levels are really tiny and you have a built-in level editor, so you can make levels quickly and easily, and it's fun to do so. So yeah, I think that's about all I've got. But yeah, thank you for watching, and definitely pick this game up if you're interested in it. It is on Steam. It's on Windows right now, but they're working on a Mac and Linux build. It's also out on it came out on PlayStation 4 originally. And yeah, it's super good. It has a really good soundtrack. Super stylish. Nice people made it. Yeah, play it. Cool. Thank you very much.